quickly start with introductions. Ms. Jones, our board vice president, obviously you've already been introduced to. Ms. Joanne Purser, one of our trustees, our board secretary, Martin Rainwater, Cullen Mills, board member. Just to kind of put this in perspective, we actually spent over 3 hours just a couple weeks ago at the board meeting level, discussing school safety. So that kind of describes on one agenda item the emphasis and the importance that we believe school safety plays in our district. It is our top priority, has been our top priority, and will remain our top priority as we move forward. I'd also like to introduce some of our district administration. Megan Bradley, our deputy superintendent. We have assistant superintendent for elementary school leadership, Dr. Joannette Creighton. Her counterpart for secondary schools, I know I saw Dr. Susan Buckley right here in the back. And of course we have numerous district administration, district administrators and campus administrators. So again, thank you all for being here. If y'all just show a raise of hands. I know you all want introductions, but you're just not going to get them tonight for the sake of time. I apologize. Also with us, Don Nicholas, representing Congressman Roger Williams' office. Congressman Williams has been a staunch supporter of school safety, submitting 4 pieces of legislation just I think here in the last 3 years, and of course we've been absolutely a partner and advocate, so thank you for being here, Don. Liz Davenport, who is our school liaison officer, she's in the back. She has been really instrumental in helping us support our 8 campuses on post, as well as military students across the school district. So thank you for being here. We also have community partners. I know I saw Chief Hawkins with Harker Heights Police Department. Thank you very much for being here. And Chief Barragon with the CTC Police Department. So thank you for being here. You'll hear from these individuals here momentarily, but our very own Chief of Police, Chief Ralph Disher, and our Director of School Safety and Investigations, Chuck Kelly. Like I said, they'll be presenting here momentarily. So the venue this evening was really to solicit community input, answer any questions that we have, but we felt like that we needed to provide some context in regards to what all is the district doing, particularly in and around this sense of heightened security and safety. And so we've got about, I believe, 24 slides that we'd like to talk through. Some of the topics that we're going to be discussing are really the proactive safety measures that have been in place and we're putting in place in preparation for the upcoming school year. We'll talk a little bit about the required trainings and drills, because we know that one thing that we have to do to be able to respond accordingly and effectively in any type of crisis situation is we have to drill, we have to train. And so we'll talk a little bit about the trainings and the drills that are provided and mandated throughout the district. We'll talk a bit about high school closed campus lunches. This will be the first year that we are closing our high school campuses for lunches. And this is intentional. With the opening of Chaparral High School, we feel like that we have the capacity to be able to effectively close campuses, and this is really primarily driven as a result of school safety. We've known with the opening of Chaparral that this is a point that we needed to really get to, and so we are in essence closing campuses to all except seniors that meet a CCMR or College Career Military Readiness indicator and have parental permission to leave campus. We'll talk about a few of the new district initiatives here momentarily. The importance of community support. The reality is this, our schools will be as safe as our community wants our schools to be. In other words, the community support and the community effort is vital to ensure the overall safety of all 52 campuses and our district-wide facilities. And then staying connected, we're going to briefly talk about the importance of communication and the importance of timely communication. As a result, we've really worked to try to streamline a lot of the applications. So school attendance, tardy trackers, grades, it's all going to be in kind of this one-shop stop come August 1st, which is going to be a district application, a district app. So you'll be able to download on your Android or your iPhone a district app that, like I say, will be a streamlined form of communication. And of course, any district or campus notifications that accompany any type of crisis situation will also be pushed through that application, or through that app. And then we're going to open it up to the forum. We've got note cards, so throughout the presentation, during the presentation, if you have questions or if you have comments, please take a note on the note card. We're going to collect those note cards. Ms. Jones is going to open the public forum, which is technically speaking what is posted on our certified agenda. And then we're going to just have a conversation, discuss any questions, any comments that you may have, any suggestions. That's really, like I say, the intent and why we're here this evening. Okay, so some of the proactive safety measures. As a result of the 2018 bond, we have really worked to ensure that our security vestibules are up to par. If you have visited any campus here recently, you'll know that during the course of the school day, we lock all the doors except for the main entrance door. Campuses that have portable buildings are on a timed alarm or locking system where there are access points for students to be able to egress, ingress into the building, but they're on a timing system. All other doors are to be locked. Thus, the main point of entry via a security vestibule or access point is the only unlocked door during the course of the school day. And of course, the campus secretary has to buzz visitors in where a valid ID has to be presented before there could be any visitation. The campus perimeter fencing was also a part of this bond project, which I know there were a lot of questions that probably circulated as these fences were being installed. And the questions that were really initiated were, well, why are we doing this? Because we can't obviously fence off fire lanes, but why are we putting perimeter fencing all around our campuses? Well, prime example is what we have just actually seen. It allows for access points at specific areas that can be better monitored. That was really the intent, or is the intent, of the perimeter fencing. If you kind of think about some of our high schools, and I'll use Chaparral High School as an example. Chaparral High School sits on 63 acres. So you can imagine, without having any type of perimeter fencing, how difficult that would be just to monitor foot traffic alone, much less vehicular traffic, in and around the perimeter of that fencing. And then additional cameras. We have well over 2,000 cameras, security cameras, now installed throughout the district. These are really state-of-the-art camera systems that we monitor, and we try to monitor basically 24 hours a day. So when we have non-occupied hours, they're actually triggered by motion, which sends us alerts that we can then respond to. So we make sure that we really worked hard to ensure, like I say, our cameras are up to speed, they're operational, and they're state-of-the-art. We do use the Texas School Safety Standard Response Protocol, which I know the Chief Disher and Mr. Kelly will talk a bit more in depth. This has been a topic of conversation. We've been using the Texas School Safety Center as a resource for years and years, well over a decade. And so we know and participate at a state level in those conversations in and around all of these response protocols. Of course, we adhere to all the required drills, which, like I say, we'll talk a bit more in detail here momentarily. And then we perform intruder testing annually. In fact, we've been performing intruder tests now for 4 or 5 years, which basically is just as it is described. We're sending, in essence, an intruder, of course, the district and one person at the campus is aware, just to test any type of vulnerabilities, particularly with access points in and around the campus. What we're really looking for, in essence, is how quickly does this individual get stopped? Hey, can I help you? What is your business? I see that you don't have a badge, i.e. you haven't checked into the front office. How can we assist? And so, like I say, these are done annually rather than just the required 3 years. Okay, next slide. So I've mentioned the single points of entry at all schools. With the elimination of portable buildings, which we've actually been able to pull off about 180 to date over the course of the last 6 years. We really are working to try to create single points of entry for access control. We have established threat assessment teams at every one of our campuses. Threat assessment teams are just that. If there's an incident reported, the threat assessment team assesses the severity of that incident, and then it's reported. If it entails action, obviously counseling support, parental involvement, administrative involvement, next steps are taken. Mention the security vehicles with buzzer controls, the outside key boxes for local law enforcement. I know that one of the questions that has recently arisen is, well, what about keys? Well, we have what we call Knox boxes installed at all of our campuses. So in the event of an emergency and a key needs to be attained, it can be by local law enforcement through EMT, through these outside key boxes. Metal detectors are deployed and implemented at the secondary level. We are working to beef up kind of the newest technology with kind of like more of a radar sonar type metal detector. But we'll continue to use metal detectors at the secondary level, middle school, high school, and of course sporting events. The door locking systems at all campuses, I mentioned this, they're on a time system. So in the event that we have portable buildings that are coordinated with a bell system, they're on a timing system. Again, our intent is for all exterior and interior, i.e. classroom doors, to be locked at all times. And we'll be going through an audit process at the campus level in particular to ensure that that is happening. Our crisis plans are reviewed annually. This is something that we've been doing for quite some time to ensure that we're in alignment with best practices. Peep holes are being installed in exterior cafeteria doors and in portables where appropriate. We want to make sure that, like I say, these doors are secure, they're locked, and those inside have clear visibility to anyone outside. Mandatory ID badges and staff for secondary students. Like I say, this has been the case for well over a decade. We talked about the security camera system. Like I say, it's pretty state of the art. We've got a very, very robust security camera system. And then all exterior doors and windows are in the process of being numbered for clear identification. Again, best practices, we've assessed this, and we really feel like that from an exterior standpoint, we can clearly identify room numbers and or locations within buildings. This is actually in the event that we have an EMT type situation where maybe an ambulance is arriving on scene and needing to get to a certain location at the building. Again, I'm going to pick on Chaparral High School being almost 500,000 square feet. Time is of the essence. In any type of crisis situation, we know that time is of the essence. So being able to direct that EMT or ambulance or emergency vehicle to the appropriate location of the building just saves that much time. So again, these are just a few of the safety measures that have been taken and will continue to be taken. I'm going to turn this portion over to Chief Ralph Disher, and he's going to talk a little about our own police department. We're very fortunate in the sense that KISD has invested over the years and really stood up a very robust police department. We're proud to have Chief Disher lead that department.